Hi everyone, welcome to VRC with Gaurav. In this video, we are going to take a look at CAT 2023, the second slot, afternoon 1, VA questions. Okay, all the RC passages, 4 RC passages with their respective 4 questions each, all of them have been already recorded and put up in the playlist. In this video, we are going to solve the VA questions, and with that, the entire second slot of CAT 23 is taken care of as far as the VRC section is concerned. Okay. Before we get started with the questions for today, this is a brief intro of mine. My name is Gaurav and I run an academy by the name of Well the Cat. And as the name suggests, the aim of the academy, the goal which my students and I pursue is nothing but belling the cat, actually cracking it so that you guys get as good a B school as possible. If you're looking for a good cat coaching place, which is absolutely no BS and focuses only and only on your performance and your progress, then consider reaching out to me on this mail ID or on this contact number, which you can see on the screen. Else, you can also visit my website by the name of wellthecat.co.in. Okay, without any delay, let's get started. First off the bat, coming to the summary questions. But before that, one important point I want to discuss with you. Before the start of every VA discussion, verbal ability question discussion, I make it a point to put it before my students that the mindset which you should have when approaching VA section should be fundamentally different from RC passages. If you have been following my channel and going through my RC passage video, one remarkable thing that we can see in RC passages is that the passages, the questions, they can be solved by an appropriate application of logic and certain guidelines which come with solving RC passage, and you can uh, pretty much expect that, okay, yes, I'll arrive at the right answer as far as the options that are framed, they are of good quality. But as soon as we leave the realm of RC passages and move to the verbal ability section, in CAT exam, since CAT 23, we have 4 different categories over here: summary, then something which I like to call as fill in the blank. Okay. Then we have the very notorious question category of parajumbles. And then lastly, odd one out, which has made a comeback after having disappeared in 2020. Okay. So the way I have jotted it down before you on the screen, this is the decreasing, descending order of, let's say, objectivity, reducing, descending order of reasonable. Okay. Reason, logic. What I mean to say is that good logic, good guidelines, basic reasoning will help you in summary the most. But as we move downwards in with respect to questions like parajumbles and odd one out, a lot of subjectivity, a lot of randomness, a lot of discretion on the part of the question setter starts kicking in. Okay, you might believe that nahi yaar, maine jo answer banaya, it is very reasonable. I can prove to you. Please listen to my explanation, and it is possible that you are right. Okay, but uh, due to some other thought process, other way of thinking, question setter must have arrived at some completely different answer, which if you look at the explanation given by the question setter, then it might start looking very reasonable or the right answer. So this is a situation where two good candidates for an answer can coexist at the same time. It's just a plain bad luck that you end up being on the wrong side, and the question setter obviously jiski lati uski bhais, as we call it in Hindi. Okay? So that is why with respect to parajumbles and odd one out, I do not stress a lot with respect to the official answer, nor do I force fit the explanation. Okay? When we go to the questions, you can see the way I explain those questions, and then you can relate to the part where I may be, or you may be right, or you may have gone wrong. Okay? Uh, Once again, before moving ahead, you can use the timestamps that I put in the description box to go to each of the questions. Total 8 questions are there, 2 each in summary, FIB, parajumbles, and odd one out. I would recommend that you start a timer, use the timestamp, solve the all 8 questions of verbal ability in one go, then come back to this point to go through each question का explanation one by one. ठीक है? That will give you a fair idea कि आपको verbal ability के total 8 questions में what is the net time that you are taking. Okay, that will help you in your long term planning with respect to how to split the time, the 40 minutes that you have in the exam, कि RC passage में कितना time रहना है और VA में कितना रहना है. And once again, I'm repeating, I've said this literally a ton of times before. Please do not go by one size fits all approach. ठीक है? You have a lot of tutors out there on YouTube and other tutors who go around saying कि आप RC को इतना time दो फिर VA करो, then somebody says नहीं VA पहले करो RC करो बाद में, all of that. No one approach fits everybody. हर अच्छे एस्पायरेंट को खुद का ट्रायल एंड एरर करना होगा. Only then after that you can decide that okay, so and so time का split 25-15, 20-20 helps me or not. ठीक है. So please develop your own process. Please develop your own approach. Do not rely on some random ज्ञान given by random YouTubers. ठीक है. तो चलो, enough ज्ञान. With that set in mind, I hope that you have solved all the questions. And now let's go take a look at the explanations. All right, starting with the first summary. What does this question tell us? Starting with the explanation, hoping that you have solved it already. The topic of discussion here is heat waves. Now, this is actually a bit funny because the time when I'm making this video, it is actually peak summer throughout India. Crazy heat waves sweeping the nation. Okay, peak May heat. All right. So this paragraph talks about heat waves becoming longer, more frequent, okay, boss, and more intense. Cool. But this is not in India. This is actually, the context is UK. Okay. Then second point is that although heat waves are going up, everybody is not uniformly impacted. Okay. There is a special class of people such as old people, young children, people who are on the low income side ka bracket. These people are more impacted compared to other aam janta. Let us say a young man in his 30s having a lot of money with him. Okay. Such a person can probably insulate himself from the heat by sitting in a very good infrastructure. But people who are on the poverty side or maybe poor people, they are impacted by heat waves more. So in a good summary, we are not going to focus on specifically which people are facing more problem. What we tend to give the summary is something like that heat waves are becoming longer, frequent, and more intense. Not everybody is equally impacted. That's it. Or you can say that some people are more impacted, more vulnerable compared to others. That's about it. Okay. So we are going to highlight that part only, that certain groups of people are more vulnerable. That's it. Okay. If your option is focusing only on old people or only on poor people, then that is not a good option. Okay. Next, paragraph says that this is a government concern also. Looking at the heat waves and the kind of damage that they can cause, obviously government has to take some steps. Okay. Maybe warning people about its danger or helping people escape heat waves as much as possible could be on the radar. Okay. Then a very important research has brought this important piece of information to light, that people who are especially vulnerable to heat waves, okay, old people, people who are poor, all right, they don't realize their vulnerability. They don't realize that yaar hum extra khatre mein, okay, do not perceive themselves as at risk of extreme. तो ये तो बड़ी गलत बात हो गई, right? If somebody is in danger of falling prey to something, at least he or she should be aware of it, okay? बट ऐसा नहीं है. इसीलिए सरकार जब भी वार्निंग्स देती है दैट बॉस वेरी हॉट डेज और वेरी हॉट इवेंट्स आर गोइंग टू कम, प्लीज प्रोटेक्ट योरसेल्फ. पीपल डोंट रियली पे अटेंशन टू इट. ठीक है, दैट्स नॉट अ गुड पॉइंट. So what is a remedy which is being suggested by the author? What is a good solution that could come forward? Solution is that author says कि मीडिया का हेल्प लेना चाहिए, especially न्यूज मीडिया. ठीक है, the news media plays a very important role in making people aware that boss, okay, heat waves are coming, you guys are vulnerable, please take due precautions. ठीक है. So media should come in, step in, or the role of media should be harnessed by the government as per the author. That's it. ठीक है. So broad takeaway 3-4 points only. One, heat waves stronger, more intense. Certain groups of people are vulnerable. They are not quite aware of this and hence end up ignoring government के warnings. And as a remedy, author is suggesting कि boss news media का हमने use करना चाहिए. Okay, power of news media, the way it can convince people, the narration, it should be shaped so that people start taking this threat seriously. Okay, all in all, a pretty positive vibe to the entire narration. Hardly any criticism or rona dhona pessimism coming in. Okay. So on that count, we can throw out option B and C very easily, very easily. Why? Because they are using unnecessarily strong words such as ineffective. Okay. Now, if you are thinking नहीं होता है ना, ineffective होना चाहिए, यहाँ पे तो लिखा है clearly that warnings are not performing as intended. Okay, all right. If you say that early warnings do not perform as intended, accepted. But let me pinpoint the fine difference between something not performing as per expectation and completely ineffective. Example देता हूँ, विराट कोहली. Okay, let us say the star batsman is batting in a match and you want the guy to desperately score 100 because a lot is at stake. Okay, let's say the guy gets out at 70 runs only. So would you call his innings as ineffective totally? Just because आपका जितना intention था, आपका जितना expectation था, he didn't do it, he didn't score a century. Would you end up going say that ineffective batting? No, not at all, not at all. They're two different things. Okay, so that is why option B and C can be thrown out because they are going way beyond what the passage implies, and you cannot make judgments like this. Okay, that leaves option A and D on the table. D is actually fair enough as far as the first half is concerned. Till the point of heat waves, this is okay. News stories help in warning about heat waves, correct. But the second half, which comes after it, that is quite problematic because it says that news stories they have to become more effective. Yaar. This is what we call as conjecture. In the sense, what is the conjecture here? Judgment that is passed with limited information, that is called as conjecture. That the moment you say कि news stories have to become more effective, you are implying कि जो existing news stories है, they are not effective enough. Okay. Now you might say कि ये भी तो दिया ही है passage में that early warnings they do not perform, they are not effective as we would want them to be. All right. My question to you in such a case is ऐसा कहाँ पर दिया है, ऐसा कहाँ पर लिखा है that these early warnings they are being given by news stories, they are being given through news media? Nowhere at all. Okay, maybe it is possible that government is reaching out to citizens directly without the use of news media, and those direct warnings, direct communication, that is not working effectively, and that is why the author is recommending कि नहीं नहीं सरकार तुम ना न्यूज मीडिया का हेल्प लो, ये आपको काम करके दिखाएंगे. So if that is the case, then option D falls flat on its face. Okay. So because of that, because of this conjecture which comes in the second half, this is not allowed at all. This is what we call as going out of scope or out of the limit set by the passage. That is why answer option A is very good in such a case. At heat waves pose an enormous risk. Well and good. Media plays a pivotal role in alerting people to this danger. Absolutely bang on point. Absolutely no red flag here. इससे सिंपल, इससे प्यारा समरी बन ही नहीं सकता. दोनों तीनों बात कवर कर ली इसने. एट हीट वेव्स का बहुत डेंजर है लोगों को वार्निंग देने के लिए और वो सक्सेसफुल होने के लिए मीडिया का हेल्प लेना चाहिए. कूल, एक्सेलेंट. ओके, so I hope that you got the explanation and also that you got the answer right in the attempt that you made. Still, if you have any doubts pending, let me know in the comment section. Okay, without any delay, let's go to the next question now. Also, please hit the like, share, and subscribe button if you like my content. Make sure to go through the other playlists that I've created on the channel. Okay. All CAT VRC questions, previous year questions are being uploaded suitably in the playlist so that you can have one particular bank and go through all the questions for the past, what, 7 years at least? Okay, 6, 7 years. Okay. Now, coming to the second question. अच्छा लगा ये, अच्छा पैराग्राफ है. We are talking about something known as counterfactual alternative. ठीक है. Okay, sound like a big heavy duty term, but not to worry. Paragraph tells us that people create it, okay, और तुरंत create कर देते spontaneously. It comes naturally, suddenly from you. Okay. What are counterfactual alternatives? What if only. अच्छा, okay, all right. कि what if यार मेरी क्रश काश आज मेरी बंदी होती, काश मेरी गर्लफ्रेंड होती, लाइफ कितना अलग होता. या फिर इफ ओनली धोनी रन आउट नहीं होता यार 2019 के वर्ल्ड कप में, बात कितनी अलग होती, शायद हम जीत जाते, वगैरह वगैरह. सो ऑल ऑफ दिस इफ ओनली, इफ देन एल्स के जो ये इमेजिनरी सिचुएशन से लोग क्रिएट कर जाते हैं. ठीक है, एंड दे स्टार्ट इमेजिनिंग की हाउ द स्टोरी वुड हैव अनफोल्डेड, how the different stories would have been if only this one particular event would not have occurred or occurred differently, something like that. ठीक है, ठीक है. And that is called as, when you indulge in such speculation, that is called as counterfactual alternative. ठीक है. Now, why are we doing this? Why do people engage in this speculation? Paragraph says that we do it for a variety of reasons. ठीक है. There are a lot of reasons that going on. What are those? अब यहाँ से लेकर इतना सारा till this part, all of those reasons are given. That is somehow help us explain and accept the past, prepare us for the future. Then also understand some causal relationship. कि अच्छा, okay, event A happened, उसकी वजह से some other event must have happened. Blah 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 blah. They also help understand things, emotions like regret, relief. लंबा चौड़ा narrative. ठीक है. Take away point क्या है? That people create these alternatives in mind and the reasons for them are manifold. हम समरी में एक 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 रीजन नहीं मेंशन करें, ठीक है। प्लीज कीप इन माइंड स्पेसिफिक एग्जांपल्स ऑफ एनी ब्रॉड पॉइंट आर नॉट गिवन इन अ गुड समरी, ठीक है। नेक्स्ट, अनदर मेजर पॉइंट दैट इज देयर, दैट ये जो एबिलिटी है काउंटर फैक्चुअल अल्टरनेटिव क्रिएट करने की, दिस एबिलिटी ये कहां से आती है? तो ऑथर सेज, पैराग्राफ सेज दैट दिस एबिलिटी टू क्रिएट दिस काउंटर फैक्चुअल्स इट डेवलप्स राइट थ्रू आउट अ चाइल्डहुड एंड बचपन से जैसे जैसे हम बड़े होते हैं ये एबिलिटी बिल्ड होते जाती है। एंड इसका हेल्प कहाँ पे होता है हमें? इट हेल्प्स अस इन अंडरस्टैंडिंग अदर पीपल्स बिलीव्स, कि अच्छा ओके इफ योर फ्रेंड बिलीव्स इन समथिंग, और इफ योर दुश्मन इज अ फैन ऑफ सलमान खान, तो भाई ये पागल है कि ये सलमान खान में क्यों पसंद करता है ऐसे भाई को। तो काउंटर फैक्चुअल नैरेटिव्स विल हेल्प यू अंडरस्टैंड, ठीक है, इंक्लूडिंग देयर ट्रू और फॉल्स बिलीव्स। So you need not get lost in this technical language which the paragraph gives you. A good summary will only focus on the broad points that is there. काउंटरफैक्चुअल अल्टरनेटिव बनाए जाते हैं, क्यों बनाते हैं? तो ढेर सारे रीजन है। कब से बनाना शुरू करते हैं? तो बचपन से शुरुआत हो जाती है। एंड लास्टली दे हेल्प अस कोप विद द वर्ल्ड अराउंड अस, ठीक है। दैट्स इट नाउ लेट्स गो एंड इवैल्यूएट द options. You need not do a lot of paraphrasing. What I've seen a lot of people doing is कि ये main points jot down करते चलते, not really needed. It is possible, or sorry, it is needed only when the given paragraph is very long, बहुत सारी बातें अगर कर दी, ठीक है। बट here that is not needed. कितने गिने चुने 2-3 पॉइंट्स तो है, इतना तो कोई भी मेंटली होल्ड कर सकता है, राइट। मूविंग टू द ऑप्शंस, ओके। Counterfactuals help people to prepare for the future by understanding intention, making decision. Wait a minute, पढ़ा लिखा तो लग रहा है ये ऑप्शन। Is it there? Yes, it is there. Okay. Sorry. Understanding intention, making decision, all of this is present. Okay. And affect intention and decisions, all these terms are present. But as I told you guys just a few minutes ago, that this part after blue till blame, ये सारा का सारा part, these 3-4 lines, they are specific example, they are specific points, details of this broad point, many reasons. और क्या रीजन? तो 1 2 3 4 5 है भाई, इतने सारे रीजन, बोलो। तो ऑप्शन ए इज फिक्सेटिंग ऑन वन पर्टिकुलर रीजन ओनली, दैट या दे हेल्प पीपल प्रिपेयर फॉर द फ्यूचर बिकॉज ऑफ दिस, बाय, बस हो गया। अरे लोग क्यों करते हैं, फिर कब से शुरुआत होती है काउंटर फैक्चुअल क्रिएट करने की, एंड व्हाट इज इट्स एडवांटेज, हाउ डज इट हेल्प अस, कुछ भी नहीं। So it has focused on only one particular sentence of the paragraph and forgets about the rest of it completely. So even though you can find it in the paragraph, doesn't mean that it is a good candidate for a summary. Okay, so you should be throwing it out because it fixate on only one point. Okay. Next, people create counterfactual alternatives to reality for various reasons. So far so good, including reasoning about other people's belief. LOL, why? Problem यहाँ से शुरू हो गया। Okay, the reasoning about other people's beliefs. Okay, is this a reason? Is this a reason? No. Reasons की लंबी चौड़ी लिस्ट है, but reasoning about other people का beliefs comes over here. Other people's beliefs contributes to reasoning about other people. ये कारण नहीं है काउंटर फैक्चुअल बनाने का। काउंटर फैक्चुअल बनाकर what is the advantage? What is the advantage? That you get this, you are able to handle this. Okay, so two different parts of the paragraph forcibly जोड़ दिए एक दूसरे से, ऑप्शन बी। These two things cannot be put together. This is a different thing, reasoning about other people belief, this is an advantage, this is a consequence of the counterfactual creation. And option B यहाँ पर is talking about कि why do we do that in the first place. Two different concepts. Okay, so I hope that you got the reason why option B is very flawed in nature. Moving ahead, option C, counterfactual alternatives to reality are created for a variety of reasons. Excellent, so far so good. कि बहुत सारे reasons होते हैं जिसकी वजह से हम ये बनाते हैं, ठीक है। And these alternatives, they are part of one's developmental process. Amazing. Option is so beautiful, man. No red flags, no errors, no mistakes, and two broad points of the narrative covered very properly. कि ढेर सारे रीजंस होते हैं, और ये जो एबिलिटी है क्रिएट करने की, ये हमारे बचपन से ही शुरू हो जाती है। सो एज अ चाइल्ड, एज वी आर डेवलपिंग एंड बिकमिंग एडल्ट्स, This ability is a part and parcel of the process. Cool, cool, cool. What else do you want? Option C, perfect. ठीक है. Option D तो यार very very laughable. Time machine or what does it helps to reverse past and future decision? What the f? This is not some time machine that we are handling. Okay. So once again, as you can see, both summary questions very reasonable, very doable. So आपके अगर सही हो जाते हैं तो without breaking a lot of sweat, you are plus 6 marks without a lot of effort. Amazing. Who doesn't want it? ठीक है. चलो, let's go to the next question category. पैराजम्बल क्वेश्चंस, प्लीज 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 कीप इन माइंड, यहाँ पर बहुत ज्यादा दिमाग नहीं लगाना. ठीक है. Different guidelines are at work when solving parajumbles. You will find a lot of different guidelines coming in from a lot of different tutors. I'll also give you my thought process when I attack a particular parajumble question. Let's see what we can arrive at. Okay. Assuming that you have read the entire parajumble question, all the 4 sentences, and framed some kind of sequence on your phone. Please do that first, only then will you be able to follow the explanation. ठीक है. Coming to the explanation now. Multiple concepts एक साथ apply होते हैं. What are the different concepts? First of all, finding a good intro sentence, finding a good starting sentence. ठीक है. Next, forming pair between 2 sentences, which helps bring down the different probable sequences का जो chance है वो एकदम कम कर देता है. At the start of any parajumble, 24 distinct combinations are possible. But as soon as you create a pair, and assuming that you are right in creating that pair of sentence, for example, कि भाई 1 और 3 ये साथ साथ में आएंगे, कुछ भी कर लो आप, very fixed, कुछ नहीं हो सकता, और 1, 3 are always going to be together. So immediately the number of different sequences that are possible, it drops down to 6. ठीक है. So do that always, as far as possible, create pairs which will help you arrive at the right answer. ठीक है. So with these 2 concepts in mind, we can create this thing that, okay boss, this is going to be the starting sentence. So whatever sequence that we create, 4 is definitely going to be at the start, because it kickstarts the discussion that human conscious is an emergent property of them. ठीक है. And then remaining sentences are talking about the emergent properties and ability to express it. ये आपको कहाँ मिलेगा? कैन अ सिंगल न्यूरॉन डू इट, या फिर नहीं, एक सिंगल न्यूरॉन के बस की बात नहीं है, यू नीड अ टन ऑफ न्यूरॉन्स वर्किंग टुगेदर टू डू दैट. ठीक है. सो 4 definitely kickstarts the discussion. Then looking at the remaining sentences, यहाँ पर it is very clear that sentence 1 and 3, they are a solid pair. They are a solid pair, 1 and 3. How so? Because 1 says, देखो, that एक ants जो एक कॉलोनी बनाती है, जहाँ पे ants का सब कुछ काम डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड है, that okay, these are worker ants, these are security वाले ants, this is the queen ant, all of that. तो उसी तरीके से न्यूरॉन्स का भी स्ट्रक्चर होता है, that no single neuron will be able to do the job for you. Just like one single ant cannot do everything to survive. Okay, they need to exist in their group, in their society. So same thing, आप कोई भी एक सिंगल न्यूरॉन पकड़ोगे और उसको बोलोगे भाई 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 चल मैं तेरा इंस्पेक्शन करूंगा, कैन आई फाइंड द रूट ऑफ लॉजिक, कैन आई फाइंड द रूट ऑफ अदर ह्यूमन इमोशंस लाइक होप, बिलीफ, फेथ, हेट्रेड इन यू, तो वो सिंगल न्यूरॉन बोलेगा भाई मुझे माफ करो, मैं अकेला आपकी सहायता नहीं कर सकता. लेकिन आपने अगर आपका अप्रोच बदला, इंस्टेड ऑफ टारगेटिंग वन सिंगल न्यूरॉन इन द होप ऑफ डिस्कवरिंग समथिंग, व्हाट इफ यू investigate a bunch of neurons together? Then yes, that is good, and that is what sentence 3 says. And to assist you, this word over here, that is excellent connector word, nonetheless. हम nonetheless कब बोलते हैं? जब there is a twist in the story कि अच्छा पहले सैड चीज हुई, अच्छा ओके जाने दो, कोई बात नहीं, nonetheless अभी देखो बात पलटेगी, मैं आपको पॉजिटिव चीज बताता हूँ भाई. इसके पहले एक सेंटेंस आपको मिलेगा जहाँ पे पता चलता है अरे यार भाई काम नहीं हो पाया, एंड देन nonetheless के बाद में अरे हो गया, नहीं सोल्यूशन इज. So yes, that is the case over here, that while one single neuron can't help you, some of all neurons, they will definitely help you out by helping you understand complex human emotions. Excellent. एक अकेले न्यूरॉन के बस की जो बात नहीं थी, अब वो पूरे ग्रुप ऑफ न्यूरॉन साथ में कर सकते हैं. So 1 and 3 are definitely a pair. So that leaves out only 2 possible combination. एक तो आप 1 3 ऐसा रख दो and obviously then 2 comes afterward, या फिर 4 2 1 3 ऐसा हो सकता है. Now truth be told, दोनों का एनालिसिस आप करके देखिए मेंटल इमेजिनेशन में थोड़ा, My perspective, my thought process is that both are good. Both are good. Now it is simply a roll of dice कि कौन सा सही निकलेगा. ठीक है. And the official answer that is given is this. ठीक है. 4132. All right. Now if you are somebody who ended up creating 4213, तो आप दिल छोटा मत कीजिए, मैं भी आपके ही साथ हूँ. What I mean to say is that I also ended up creating this sequence while being confused about 4132 at the same time. I consciously chose this one and ended up failing. गलत हो गया था मेरा. ठीक है. And the reason why I went with 2 is because I believe that this fits in pretty well after 4. Because in 4 we are talking about emergent property, human consciousness being an emergent property. And then sentence 2 says कि देखो अभी तक के हम पूरी तरीके से समझ नहीं पाए हैं क्या चल रहा है. We are not able to identify the mechanism by which emergence functions. लेकिन कुछ और बात हम समझ चुके हैं. और क्या बात समझ चुके हैं? According to me, 1 and 3 then follow. And one single neuron won't help you out, but the sum of all neurons, the entire group, that will help you figure out the answer. So that is why I went with the sequence of 4213. But as luck would have it, it's not the answer. The answer is 4132. ठीक है. So either of the two cases, अगर आपके ये बने थे, तो it's actually a good thing. No need to be happy or become sad. आपका सही या गलत हुआ होगा तो भी. इतना सब्जेक्टिविटी इनहेरेंट रहता ही है इन पैराजम्बल्स. Okay, don't stress your mind over getting the right answer always. 50-50, that's it. Okay, moving ahead. Sort of same thing happening over here, and यहाँ पर please pay close attention. काफी important है यहाँ इस part का explanation. Don't jump directly to the answer. In this case also you can see that the context of discussion is कि African culture is something independent and it should have been recognized, it should be given its due appreciation, but Western Christians or Western Christianity did not do it. उन्होंने काफी condescending approach रखा African culture, native culture के प्रति. That is what the author wants to say, and obviously he disapproves of that and goes on to talk about different books, different authors attacking this bias of Western Christians. ठीक है. So obviously 4 and 3 are an excellent pair और शुरुआत भी उसी के साथ होनी चाहिए. 4 and 3 mandatory starting pair. Why? 4 says कि देखो वेस्टर्न क्रिश्चियन कंसेप्ट ने ना बहुत टाइम तक के कोशिश किया कि नहीं नहीं हम अफ्रीकन नेटिव कल्चर, अफ्रीकन कल्चर को हम भाव ही नहीं देंगे, बट हम नहीं रिकॉग्नाइज करते. एंड देन अदर गोज ऑन टू से ये बहुत गलत है. ओके, देयर व्यूज, ये देयर मतलब कौन? वेस्टर्न क्रिश्चियंस. ओके, ये लोग भले मानते होंगे कि अफ्रीका के पास में नेटिव कल्चर नहीं था, बट दे आर स्टूपिड, दे आर नॉट रिकॉग्नाइजिंग द रियलिटी. रियलिटी क्या है? that a rich and indigenous African culture exists. It exists. तुम्हारी बस नजर चाहिए देखने के लिए. So 4 and 3 very strong statements. फिर obviously हमारे पास में दो ही रास्ते बचते हैं. You either go with 2-1 or you go with 1-2. And this is where थोड़ा सा goof up हुआ एग्जाम में when the answer key was released. Official answer when the answer key came out was this. ठीक है. Pay close attention. Official answer in answer key, which came up around 21-22 December after the CAT exam. Okay, almost a month after CAT exam, when the answer key came out, this was the answer given. Then obviously people raise objections. You are allowed to raise objections. So thankfully, this is one question where CAT accepted the objection and changed the official answer to. After objection, official answer was changed to 4312. 4312. This was the official answer recognized afterwards. ठीक है. So keep in mind, and even I went ahead with 4312 only. Thankfully, got it right later on. ऐसा क्यों? क्योंकि after you have written that Western Christians के हाथ से गलती हुई, author is bashing them, then we go from macro to micro. कंटेम्पररी अफ्रीकन राइटिंग, भाई ऐसी ढेर सारी किताबें लिखी गई है जहां पर, या फिर पर्टिकुलरली ये एक किताब लिखी गई है जहां पर ये जो दो कंसेप्ट है, वेस्टर्न क्रिश्चियनिटी और अफ्रीकन कल्चर, इनके बीच का जो डिफरेंस है, इनके बीच का जो दरिया है, वो एक्सप्लोर किया गया. एंड देन वी स्टार्ट टॉकिंग अबाउट द ऑथर. ओके, बड़े से छोटे की तरफ जाते हैं. ओके, फ्रॉम ब्रॉडर पॉइंट टू द स्पेसिफिक माइक्रो पॉइंट. This guy explores the conflict and cast Western tradition as condescending, blah blah blah, in this particular book. So you introduce the book first, then you give what is happening in that book later on. So ये ऑफिशियल आंसर जो पहले आया था उसमें गलती हो गई थी. दैट इज व्हाई वंस अगेन आई एम रिपीटिंग, ऑफिशियल आंसर रिकॉग्नाइज नाउ इज 431. तो आप बोलोगे कि हमको ये सर्कस क्यों बताया सारा का सारा, couldn't you have directly given us 4312? The reason I have done that is कि it is very likely that if you go to different platforms, जहाँ पर past cat year papers आपको मिलते हैं, ऑफिशियल आंसर की मिलती है, वहां पर you will still see the official answer given as 4321, but as per the source of physics wala website, I have cross checked it there. This particular question was rectified, the answer objection was accepted, and the answer changed to 4312. So you might not find 4312 in a lot of places. If that happens, please don't end up getting confused. Okay, that is why this entire lamba choda explanation. Okay, with that in mind, let's go to the next question category. Odd one out, something that I do not like. Okay, I have always been outspoken against this question category because immense subjectivity है यार, immense. Hardly ever you will come across a very reasonable situation कि हाँ ये sentence बिल्कुल odd one है, यहाँ पे इसको बाहर कर दो. Other times दो कैंडिडेट आंसर के लिए तो रहते ही रहते हैं यार, सेंटेंस 2 और सेंटेंस 5 दोनों भी आउट ऑफ प्लेस लग रहे हैं, पता नहीं नसीब कहाँ चलेगा, लाइक दैट. ओके, so in this case, instead of determining what should be the answer, let us try to determine what cannot be the answer. मतलब कौन सा सेंटेंस रहना ही पड़ेगा, रखना ही पड़ेगा in order to create a meaningful paragraph. Okay, क्वेश्चन ही कहता है ना हमें कि 4 sentences here can be put together to form a coherent paragraph. So if you take that sentence out, तो paragraph बन ही नहीं पाएगा, बहुत weird सा sequence हो जाएगा. So in this case, sentence 1 and sentence 4 ये दोनों रखने ही पड़ेंगे. If you take any one out, the other candidate, the other pair उसका sentence is left hanging. एकदम अटपटा situation create हो जाए. So 1 and 4 cannot be the answer at all. ठीक है, so that is a relief. Now answer has to be out of 2, 3 and 5. Okay. In my view, problem is I would have liked option 5, sorry, sentence 5 to have been the answer. Why? Because sentence 5, although it is talking about related topic, my problem is that it is talking specifically about 2022 कि यार 2022 में तो 2500 टाइटल्स के अगेंस्ट चैलेंज उठाया गया और बैन करने की कोशिश की गई वगैरह वगैरह. ऑल फेयर एंड फाइन, बट यू गाइस टेल मी, हमें कहाँ पता, वी हैव एब्सोल्युटली नो आइडिया कि ये जो किताब है नॉर्दर्न लाइट्स और इसके अराउंड जो भी डिस्कशन हो रहा है, इज इट 2022 का मैटर? फॉर ऑल वी नो दिस स्टोरी मस्ट हैव हैपेंड इन 2015, ईयर 2000, 1985, व्हाटएवर मैन, व्हाटएवर, कुछ भी हो सकता है. हमें कैसे पता कि ये 2022 से ही रिलेटेड इवेंट है बचे हुए 4? So for that reason, I ended up marking sentence 5 as the answer. And once again, as luck would have it, मेरा नसीब barely कभी चलता है odd one out में. Official answer that has been given is something like this. Sentence 2. अब ये क्यों बन सकता है, इसका force fit explanation I will not give to you. ठीक है? On other platforms, you will often see that the tutor force fits the explanation to suit the officially correct answer. I am not so arrogant to do that. I will simply confess that till date, I am not convinced how this can be the right answer. Okay, so not letting any kind of ego or arrogance come in the way. अब जो है वो है. All right. So if you got it correct, well and good, excellent, congratulations. You got a +3 extra for marks. But अगर नहीं भी हुआ तो don't take it much to heart because odd one out questions are like this only. एक्सपेक्टेशन की भाई प्रैक्टिस के साथ में आपका आंसर इंप्रूव होगा, यू विल अराइव एट बेटर आंसर, नो, डजंट रियली वर्क लाइक दैट. बहुत ज्यादा रैंडमनेस और बहुत ज्यादा लक का भी खेल हो सकता है. सो डोंट बीट योरसेल्फ अप अबाउट इट इफ यू गॉट दिस आंसर रॉन्ग. आई आल्सो डिड. ठीक है, चलो आगे चलते हैं. दिस वन इज फार बेटर कंपेयर टू द प्रीवियस क्वेश्चन, फार बेटर. ओके, हाउ सो? दैट 1 2 3 4 5 ये सारे सेंटेंस अल्दो दे आर टॉकिंग अबाउट सेल्फ केयर एंड चिल्ड्रन इन ट्रबल वगैरह वगैरह, वन पर्टिकुलर सेंटेंस स्टैंड्स आउट, तो सीक्वेंस भी बनता है पहले। इन दिस केस दिस इज वन ऑफ दोज रेयर क्वेश्चन जहाँ पे हम एक प्रॉपर पैराजम्बल की तरह 4 सेंटेंस का पैराग्राफ बना सकते हैं, एंड देन वी कैन सी दैट नो वन सेंटेंस इज completely out of boundary. We start off the sequence with sentence number 2 first. कि लैच की चिल्ड्रन ये टर्म यूज किया गया कुछ पर्टिकुलर काइंड ऑफ बच्चों के लिए। Why do we have the term लैच की चिल्ड्रन सबसे पहले रख दिया? क्योंकि in all the other sentences you will see that this term is not used ever again. लैच की चिल्ड्रन ये जो टर्म है ये रिप्लेस कर दिया गया by the term children in self care. Replace latchkey with the phrase children in self care. Okay, all right. So this sentence will come after that 2 4. Now what about this situation, what about children like this? तो उनके पेरेंट्स को लगता है कि भाई हम अगर हमारे बच्चों को इस तरीके से रखे दैट द चाइल्ड इज कमिंग होम आफ्टर स्कूल, ही इज ऑल अलोन, ही हैज टू टेक केयर ऑफ हिमसेल्फ, खुद का ही लंच, खुद का ही होमवर्क, एवरीथिंग, सो दिस हेल्प्स इन सेल्फ डेवलपमेंट ना, इट मेक्स देम रिस्पांसिबल एडल्ट्स। ओके, साउंड्स ऑलराइट, साउंड्स गुड, but that is not the case. Sentence 5 says recent research has found quite the opposite. Why? What is wrong over here? Then that is given by sentence 1, that नहीं, self care की वजह से बच्चों में loneliness, behavioral problems and bad academics are seen. So all in all 2451, this sequence helps you figure out the negativity, the drawbacks of this self care वाला ecosystem. ठीक है, it takes a negative, it takes a critical look of this situation. तो odd one out, but naturally क्या बनेगा यहाँ पर? odd one out has to be sentence number 3. Why so? Because it suddenly says अरे नहीं 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 रुको, long term outcomes ना यार ये पता नहीं हमको, अभी bulk of research with respect to long term development ये बाकी है। अरे why would you talk about some kind of research and then suddenly want to talk about its shortcomings? Doesn't it look out of place? ये थोड़ा सा बाद में आना चाहिए, और भी थोड़ा सा इंफॉर्मेशन दिया जाएगा एंड देन द शॉर्टकमिंग विल बी कन्फेस्ड कि हाँ शॉर्ट टर्म में भले ही कुछ डिफिकल्टीज दिख रही है, लॉन्ग टर्म इफेक्ट्स येट टू बी कंसिडर्ड। ओके, सो दिस इज द अप्रोच दैट इज टेकन। सो this question is actually pretty reasonable and hence sentence 3 is a good odd one out for an answer. Okay, still if you have any doubts let me know in the comment section. Okay, all right, let's go ahead now. लास्ट क्वेश्चन कैटेगरी फिल द ब्लैंक क्वेश्चंस। अच्छे थे इस स्लॉट में जो ये क्वेश्चंस आए थे, बोथ वर वेरी गुड इन नेचर, यू जस्ट नीड एन ओपन आई टू क्रैक इट ओपन। ऑप्शंस आर गिवन इन द एग्जाम, द ऑर्डर ऑफ द ऑप्शंस एंड द ब्लैंक्स कैन बी अप एंड डाउन, नो वरीज अबाउट दैट। कमिंग टू दिस फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन, बहुत आसान है, you have to simply put this sentence in position 2 only. क्यों? क्योंकि तुरंत यहां पर देखिए what this part is talking about, the distinction between developing and advanced economies, distinction between developing and developed economies. Okay, ये कहां पर दिया है? ये given sentence में ही तो दिया है, developing countries in contrast to developed countries, that's it. If you don't put this sentence in blank number 2, what do you have the situation as is something like this. Let me explain it to you. अगर समझो आप ये given question का sentence blank 2 में नहीं रखते, तो you will have a situation जहाँ पे आप ये sentence पढ़ते हो at the core of blah 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 and then suddenly you talk about कि while this distinction, this distinction, ये फर्क, कौन सा फर्क भाई? पहले सेंटेंस में तो कोई फर्क ही नहीं बताया, हमें बस ये दिया गया है कि पुअर कंट्रीज में एक डुअलिज्म दिखता है, कंपैरिजन ऑफ पुअर कंट्रीज वर्सेस एडवांस्ड कंट्रीज और डेवलप्ड कंट्रीज ये तो दिया ही नहीं। ये पता होना चाहिए ना आपको कि क्या डिफरेंस की बात हो रही है, एंड दिस डिफरेंस इज ओनली गिवन बाय दिस सेंटेंस ओनली। दैट इज व्हाई this sentence can go obviously clearly in blank 2 only, nowhere else. Now you might be tempted to say कि नहीं नहीं इसको यहाँ पे 1 में रख देते हैं, काम बन जाएगा, बाद में फिर हम उस डिस्टिंक्शन की बात कर सकते हैं, ये जो डिफरेंस है उनके बीच में। That doesn't work because this sentence ke at the core of development economics lies the idea of productive dualism. This is an exceptionally good introductory statement. You cannot give a detail oriented sentence like this at the start then suddenly decide कि अरे नहीं नहीं dualism का तो definition ही नहीं दिया, अरे भाई भाई ये लो definition ले लो पहले, है? No, doesn't work. You give the definition first, then you explain कि ये जो concept है, ये जो term है, ये कहाँ पर applicable है, कहाँ पर नहीं है, और उसके वजह से कहाँ काम में होता है, कहाँ काम में आएगा और नहीं आएगा, like that. Okay. So once again, repeating, very straightforward. Blank 2 is the right answer. Okay. Still, if you have any doubts, let me know in the comment section. Moving to the last question now. Whoever said this, पक्का पक्का बहुत मस्ती कर रहा था वो aspirants के साथ में. Apparently giving a question which is considered a bit adult in its context with respect to conservative culture like India. Okay, we are discussing the origin of kissing. ठीक है. And the given sentence talks about कि जो documentation अभी कुछ मिला है उसने history of kissing को 1000 years और पीछे फेंक दिया. So a particular specific number is coming before us. Okay. Now, you cannot put it in blank one because what the sentence, what the paragraph gives you, the context of the paragraph is कि एक टाइम था जब रिसर्चर्स मानते थे कि साउथ एशिया में ओरिजिन हुआ है किसिंग का 3500 years ago. And then we have other scientists, Dr. Troels and Dr. Sophie. They are saying कि नहीं नहीं नहीं, ये kissing was already well established practice in 4500 years. अरे exactly 1000 years का difference है. So that gives you a proper clue of where things are going. That at one point of time people believe kissing to be 100 years old. Then you have two scientists saying कि नहीं नहीं, it is 4500 years old. And the exact gap between the two is 1000 years. And the sentence also talks about the same thing कि जो ये documentation मिला है, तो because of the documentation we can now clearly say that the origin of kissing is 1000 years older compared to what we believed पहले. So ये sentence one में तो definitely नहीं आएगा. This sentence has to come after Dr. Troels and Dr. Sophie की बात हो चुकी है, where they have already mentioned कि नहीं नहीं नहीं, हमें तो 4500 साल का एविडेंस मिल चुका है. Only after the two numbers are mentioned can you go ahead and mark this, write this down specifically. Okay, so for this case, answer option given for this should be the only two good candidates is 2 and 3. Okay, only in these two cases can you put it. 4 में it would be too late to suddenly talk about कि अरे 1000 साल पहले हो गया वगैरह, because as you can see already a lot of story का description has started that kissing was considered intimate part in ancient times. Kissing could also have been a part of friendship. मतलब यहाँ पर the story has got into a very good flow. वहां पर you suddenly cannot say कि अरे नहीं नहीं 1000 साल पीछे किक हो चुकी है स्टोरी. अरे too late for that, man. So 4 is also out of contention. You should not place it on 4. ठीक है. So इसका आंसर ऑप्शन कहाँ बनेगा? आंसर ऑप्शन has to be एनालिसिस करके देखते हैं. Just give me a moment. Yeah, it has to be in position 3 only. क्यों? क्योंकि यहाँ पर हमें दिया है एंशिएंट मेसोपोटामिया people wrote in cuneiform script on clay tablets. Okay, एंड प्रोबेबली मच अर्लियर. मतलब ये तो भाई देखो 4500 साल पहले लिखते तो थे ही क्ले टैबलेट्स पे, शायद उससे भी पहले लिखते होंगे शायद. तो अगर ऐसी बात सच हो गई तो डेफिनेटली द डॉक्यूमेंटेशन फॉर किसिंग इट मूव्स बैक 1000 years ना. क्योंकि already it has been mentioned कि these people practice this and they have left behind clay tablets and many thousands of these clay tablets have survived this. ठीक है. So that is why blank number 3 is a very good candidate for putting the sentence. ठीक है. Sentence 2 में it would feel a bit premature to do it, but still as I told you some kind of subjectivity is inherent in verbal ability. It is very much possible that you feel that नहीं boss ये दो में मुझे ज्यादा अच्छा लग रहा है, I don't agree with 3. If that is the case, don't worry at all. Very much that could be the case, no issue. ठीक है. So with that in mind, if you selected either of 2 or 3, you are on the right track. 1 or 4 definitely नहीं करना है ऐसे cases. Of course, there is a risk of negative marking. Nobody can help that, and that is where the curse of verbal ability lies. Given its inherent subjectivity, and then you combine it with the negative marking which is there in the exam, a lot of problem can arise. ठीक है. So all right. I hope that you got the explanation for all the 8 questions. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you like my content. If you are looking for good cat coaching institute, reach out to me on this number or visit my website, wellthecat.co.in. Okay. And I'll see you in the next video. Tada, bye-bye.